Hello, good game. Welcome back, ghouls and goblins. I hope you're all having a magical day. Thank you so much for taking the time to support the channel. In this video, we will break down Kamigawa Neon Dynasty's top 10 most powerful cards. We recently completed the set review in-depth made available within the pinned comment down below if you missed out. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and heck, even share it to a friend. Let's take a look at the top 10. In at number 10, we have the one and only Farewell. Now, this is a 6-mana sorcery speed field wipe slash mass exile. Absolutely incredible. Exiling one or more artifacts, creatures, enchantments, and graveyards. That is a ton of value. And, this is the new gold standard for field control. In at number 9, Ottawari, Soaring City as a legendary land, tapping for 1 blue source. Channel for 4 to discard it, allowing us to return an artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker to its owner's hand. This ability will activate for 1 less, equal to the legendary creatures that we control. So this is very nice. The ability to have lands hold additional value is incredible, right? Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. This is a land. Turn 4, potentially onward, this now becomes a bounce spell, which is, as we've seen, hashtag divide by 0, incredibly powerful. Moving on to Atsushi, the Blazing Sky. In at number 8 for 4 mana, this is a 4/4 with flying and trample. When it dies, choose 1. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. Decent, replaces itself within card value, and even to a positive advantage at that is itself is 1, and then you'll gain access to play 2. Really good here. And then create 3 treasure tokens. So this is actually the lesser of the 2 values. However, it's still very good. Originally being cast for 4, giving you access to 3 of that mana back. Very, very, very good, right? So we quite enjoy this. Moving on to number 7, which will be a double whammy in Hitsugu, consuming all or consumes all for 3. Enchantment Saga, when it enters play, destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 1 or less, then exile all graveyards and then exile itself and transform it into the Vessel of the All-Consuming. This is a 3/3 enchantment creature, Ogre Shaman with trample, and whenever it does deal damage, put a +1/+1 counter on it. We really like this. And then whenever it deals damage to a player, if it has dealt 10 or more damage to that player this turn, they'll just automatically lose the game. So as far as value goes, for 3 mana, basically a low-level field wipe, getting rid of all of the tokens, artifacts, the treasures, the blood tokens, any white weenies or, low to the ground aggro deck. This is going to dominate. It's also going to control the graveyard and giving you access to a creature that grows every turn and can just win the game. So a ton of value within Hitsugu, consumes all. Moving into number 6, we have Kato Suzuki for 3 mana as a 3 loyalty planeswalker. We love 3 loyalty, 3 mana planeswalkers. At the beginning of your end step, if it entered the battlefield this turn, it phases out, which is really nice, making sure that your opponent doesn't deal with it on their turn, giving you access to it without having to have had to defend against an attack, right? Losing a defender in the process, or a creature, right? We can +1 to draw a card, then discard a card unless you've attacked this turn. Cycling through your deck is always beneficial, finding whatever key component you need to that specific match, whether it be removal, more draw. This is your draw, so whether it be removal or creature, something like this, right? Anywho, -2, create a 1/1 blue ninja creature token with this creature can't be blocked. The unblockable is great with the ninjutsu, so you can have a additional value while creating an unblockable creature. So that's why planeswalkers are so great, is because for 3 mana to create an unblockable creature to use with your ninjutsu is probably fine base value. However, it's going to remain in play, and then you can utilize its other loyalty abilities, which is why it is so valuable. -7, you get an emblem with whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, Search your library for a blue or black creature card, put it into the battlefield, and then shuffle, right? So this is super duper broken. Basically tutoring in a hull breaker, a Toxrill, something that you just don't want to deal with, and you won't even have to spend the mana to do so, which is pretty ridiculous. Moving on through the list, we have Tesuret, Betrayer of Flesh for 4 mana. This is a 4 loyalty planeswalker. The first activated ability of an artifact you activate each turn costs 2 less to activate. So Lethal Form Engine comes to mind. +1, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact. -2, target artifact becomes a creature. If it is not a vehicle, it has base power and toughness of 4/4. And then -6, you get an emblem with whenever an artifact you control becomes tapped, draw a card. So the ability to draw cards whenever an artifact is tapped is ridiculous. This goes in my Galazeth deck when we're tapping those artifacts to cast instances and sorceries. And now we'll also be drawing cards each time we tap one of them. Wow, right? So this is going to go all over the place. And that's why Tesuret is one of the best cards in the set. Moving on, Tamayo Completed Sage. This is in here not solely because of the value that it represents in-game, but the way in which we are able to play it. It is a first planeswalker with Phyrexian mana. The blue and green Phyrexian source you'll see here can be played by paying 2 life. I'm confused. It's been a long day. My apologies. You're rambling, HGG. Anywho, for as little as 4 mana, 2 life, or 5 mana, you get a 5 loyalty planeswalker +1. Tap up to 1 target artifact or creature it doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. So this is going to lock something down, a very, very, very nice tempo play. -X, exile target non-land permanent with mana value X or less from your graveyard, create a token that's a copy of this card. This is actually still fairly decent as well, allowing us to just grab something from the grave, put it into play, which is nice. So again, potentially giving us 2 bodies, the creature from the graveyard token and the planeswalker, right? So the value is there because we just want the thing from the grave, but now we still have this planeswalker that can plus and plus and plus, and maybe even make it to not the emblem, but an ultimate ability at -7. Create Tamayo's Notebook, a legendary colorless artifact token with spells you cast cost 2 less to cast, and you will tap it to draw a card, which is decent as well. So the reduction in your mana value requirement is nice. To cast those spells, the draw is pretty decent as well. It is also a artifact, so word up if you had Galazeth, it could tap also for mana, which is pretty decent if you wanted that. However, we've got some more cards here. In at, I believe, number 3 will be Tamayo. Sorry, Tamayo was number 4. The Wandering Emperor here is number 3. 3 loyalty for 4 mana with flash. As long as it's entered the battlefield this turn, you may activate her loyalty abilities anytime you can cast an instant, which is quite nice. So we'll be activating these loyalty abilities and playing it on our opponent's turn. +1, creating a putting a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature against first strike until the end of turn. -1, creating a 2/2 white samurai creature token with vigilance, and then -2 as the kind of ultimate ability. So very low to the ground abilities, nothing game breaking here, but exile target tapped creature, you gain 2 life. So for 4 mana, they're going to tap a creature to attack. You can exile it, gain 2 life, and then just continue the journey from there. So for me, this is very much a tempo card. With the flash, the ability to remove one of their creatures, create your own creatures, and even power them up, I think is an absolutely banger of a card. In at number 2, Baziju, who endures another legendary land, tapping for forest, discard for 2 to destroy artifact, enchantment, or non-basic land an opponent controls. That player may search their library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield, then shuffle. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control, which is really cool. So the ability to control lands, to control artifacts and enchantments all at the same time with a land is very, very cool. And a color land, so, sorry, Field of Ruin, you're out. And then finally, the number 1 most powerful card in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty is Jin Gatoxas, Progress Tyrant for 7, a 5/5 legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor. Whenever you cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, copy that spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy This ability triggers only once each turn. Whenever an opponent casts an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, counter it unless the ability, counter it, and then this ability still only triggers once each turn. So that's absolutely ridiculous. Free counter spells, sign me up. And free copies, that is pretty ridiculous. 7 mana, competing with Hullbreaker Horror, but I think nearly as good. I mean, it's not a 7/8 like the Hullbreaker Horror Wizards, lol. So it's easier to remove, but again, it's going to be countering that spell that they try to cast, which is really a lot of fun. So I'm really, really, really looking forward to playing with Jin Gataxas. That is our top 10, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any ideas or concerns about the channel and where it's heading, let me know in the comments, stuff like this. Basically, I'm just bored. I'm waiting for the new set to come out. Been playing a lot of Battlefield, been just kind of familiarizing myself with the set. I guess I could show you guys this. We've been working on some decks, like a lot of decks. Let me trim myself down here. Just to show you guys kind of what we have in store for you in the future. We kind of showed this off last video as well, but today, again, putting in more work, just making deck after 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 deck, right? So, we're getting there. I hope you guys are if you're half as excited for the new set as I am, you're going to be just fine. So yeah, that's kind of all I have for you guys today. Stay tuned. We're almost there. It comes out on February 10th, which is, again, just a few days away. So buckle up, get ready, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it to your friend, watch some other content, support financially if you can afford to do so. Times is tough. But more importantly than everything, right? Just have a magical day, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you soon in the next